You're watching Bait to the Plate.
What we call, all the fishermen that fish this area call this the Three Pylons. Right here, it's in the middle of Lake Pontchartrain, in between the train trestle and the causeway. You're fishing in about 12 foot of water here, fishing over a clam bed here, them clam shells. Years ago, when you used to dredge this lake, they put this cluster of pylons here just to tie up the loaded barges. After they got the barges loaded with clams, they come tie the barge up here, and then they take another barge and they go out and fill it up. Then when they get all the barges full of clams, they hook them all together, and they used to go in with them.
You know, Commander's Palace is doing great right now. You know, we've got a huge local following, and if any of the locals, you know, aren't there that day, and we happen to have some tourists, I mean, that's just all lanyard for us. But the menu changes every day, twice a day, depending on what we can get in from the local farmers market and also from the fish house. So, you know, it's an exciting time in New Orleans. So, you know, these days if we don't have, you know, all the oysters we want, it forces us to kind of change our hands a little bit. And so as an example, we just put grilled lobster tacos on the menu. We do that with pickled merloton, some organic sprouts we grow on the roof, and beautiful taco shell. It's all handmade.
Crawfish are starting to wind down right now, so that's okay. Crabs are still very strong. The crab meat coming in is excellent. Getting great redfish. We're getting some great grouper, getting some great mahi, as well as some lemon fish. Everything's great coming in right now. Awesome.
So the Gulf fish is still good?
Awesome. Not even just good, it's just awesome.
So it's an exciting time. It's not all gloom and doom. People want to come out and have the best Creole food in the world. Come down to New Orleans and check out what we got going on at La Cote Brasserie and Commander's Palace, because we're having some fun.
I don't know what we got, but we got something pulling on it. Oh, another big stingray. Yep. We don't want them, that's for sure. This past November, one got me in his knuckle right here, and it was sticking out back here. It was the first fish of the day, and I had clients on board. I had to rip this thing out, and it's serrated on both ends, so when you pull it out, it takes meat with it. And I pulled it out, and within a matter of 2 minutes, I was leaning over the side vomiting. I had chills and fever, and the pain was so severe, my finger got that big around instantly. And I did make the day because they came all the way down from Georgia just to fish, and I didn't want to call it a day. So I bared with the pain all day, but as soon as we got in, I went straight to Slidell Memorial Hospital, where they gave me some heavy antibiotics. They gave me a couple of shots at first, and then they gave me a strong prescription to take with that. So they're very dangerous, very poisonous. Oh, yeah, nice job. Oh, pretty job.
He hit it right close to the boat. He hit it right as I was pulling it in.
That was your fish karma for losing the earlier fish. It all works out, Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. Nice.
5 minutes, we don't get one. Yeah, that'll work. All you gotta do is threaten to leave, and then you catch your fish.
Take that on the half shell, straight on the grill or the barbecue pit at the house. Leave the skin, the scales still on it. Perfect. Nice, slow, baste it the whole time it's cooking. Nice cold beer, LA 31 out of Orneville, Louisiana. Perfect.
Good job.
Despite the 5-minute rule, we decide to move to another popular spot, the train tracks. This is the train trestles, right?
This is the train trestle, Lake Pontchartrain train trestles. At 8 o'clock in the morning, coming from New Orleans, you got the Amtrak that passes. Then during the rest of the day, you got freight trains that go by. Then around 6 o'clock in the afternoon, you have another Amtrak train that comes by.
And just like a reliable train, the first fish arrives right on time.
Swing him in the boat, nice guy. Swing him in the boat quick. Get him over the boat quick. There you go.
It's another speckled trout, adding to Chuck's growing ice chest and his hot hand with the rod and reel.
Quick.
A flounder, rare usually this time of year, but very much welcome.
Perfect size. Perfect size for the restaurant business. Stuff them with crab meat, huh?
Tory feels a tug, and he's hoping it's another flounder. And I guess it is, sort of, except this one carries a mean whip.
on the fish, the speckled trout, how many you're allowed to have per person?
You're allowed 25 speckled trout per person, and the size has to be at least 12 inches on the speckled trout. On the redfish and the black drum, you can have 5 per person, has to be 16, maximum size, and you 5, you can have 1 over 27. 10 per person on flounder, 10 flounder, and it has to be 10 inches or better.
Kenny, any limit on stingrays, huh? It's the infamous rockfish. It's a specialty here in southern Louisiana. There's a nice flavors of good minerality, good flavors of some oysters there, a little creamy, a little rich. We're lucky to have these nice rockfish. Oh yeah. Let's see if we can't shuck this guy for later and catch some more speckled trout. Let's get right back to it. Already today we've got black drum, we've got redfish, speckled trout, and now flounder in the boat. It's still early, but it's been a great day fishing so far. Let's see what else we can do.
Don't forget the stingrays.
We got a couple of stingrays too. I mean, come on.
This is Bait to the Plate. And now, an important safety message from Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries.
My name is Lieutenant Eddie Skinner. I work for the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, and we're talking today about litter and our role in enforcing litter statutes throughout the state of Louisiana. Your vehicle, especially pickup trucks, if you put a lot of trash in the bed of your pickup truck, when you get on the highway, that stuff's going to fly out and it's going to land on the highways and winds up on the side of the road, and it's very ugly, and it causes a lot of problems for our wildlife. So please do your best to stop that from happening.
You're watching Bait to the Plate.
Today we're going to be preparing drum with an okra tomato stew. We're going to start the okra tomato stew first with a little bit of oil. We're going to saute our onions. Celery. And red or green bell peppers, which in South Louisiana is known as Trinity. Get those sauteing nice and slow. When they're about halfway cooked, we're going to throw in the bacon. Okay, you want to render the bacon now. You want to get all the fat out of it. That's where all the flavor is. So nice and slow. When the bacon starts to get crispy, we'll add in the okra. I prefer fresh okra, especially when it's in season. Okay, we can add in a little bit of fresh garlic, a little bit of fresh shallots. If you don't have fresh shallots, you can use red onions. And we can add in the okra. Start cooking that down nice and slow. While that's all cooking nice and slow, we're going to go ahead and chop our tomatoes. We're going to cook that nice and slow. So you've got the okra, the tomatoes, especially Creole when they're in season, a little bit of bacon to add a little bit more depth to it, and you put the fish right on top of it. Here we have the drum fillet, which there's many different types. You have puppy drum, you have black drum, usually from the salt waters off of Louisiana. It's a great piece of fish. It holds up well to cooking. Even if it's overcooked just a tad, it doesn't fall to mush, it doesn't fall apart. So we're going to take it, cut it in 2 pieces for presentation. A little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh black pepper, both sides, skin side down. Okay? While the okra tomato stew is finishing up, we'll finish it off with a touch of Crystal, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, touch of salt. Don't want to add too much because the bacon already has salt in it. A little bit of pepper and a little bit of fresh herbs. Here we have a little bit of fresh basil, fresh thyme chopped up. Stir all that together. We use salad oil or vegetable oil or canola oil rather than olive oil. A lot of times olive oil is very good for salad dressings, but whenever you saute stuff, it has a very low smoke point, so it'll actually scorch and leave things with a very, very bitter taste. You can saute the fish till it's nice and golden. We use black iron skillets here at the restaurant. They get hot, they stay hot, and you want to make sure that it's not too hot. It has to be a nice medium to medium high heat. So it puts a nice sear on the fish but doesn't burn it. And that's the color you're looking for when you saute a piece of fish. It usually takes anywhere from about 3 to 4 minutes to cook the fish. You can also put it on the barbecue pit outside. You can also broil it on the broiler or bake it in the oven with a little bit of salt, pepper, maybe a little bit of fresh lemon, a little bit of white wine. Now to make the plate, take the okra tomato stew, center the plate, and then you take the fish, blot a little bit of the oil off of it so it's not too oily on the plate. This is the black drum with the okra tomato stew from La Cote Brasserie in the Warehouse District of New Orleans.
La Cote Brasserie's grilled drum with okra tomato stew and all other recipes featured on the show can be found by visiting our website, baittotheplate.com.